Today we have, well, I don't know. About 3 years ago, Joe from Louisiana sent me a couple of pieces of wood, a beautiful piece of cherry that was taken down in Hurricane Katrina, and a piece of Mountain Mahogany. And I've turned both of those pieces. Today I was looking for a piece of wood and I found this in the same, well, I don't know if it's the same box, in a box from Joe in Louisiana. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's from Joe and it got put in the wrong box. It's very, very heavy, very dense, very tight grain. It's dang near like petrified wood. It's beautifully weathered on the outside, and you can see that gorgeous heartwood in there with some sapwood around it. I'm gonna make what I call an emerging vase. What I mean by that is I'm gonna turn the top half, or maybe not even half, or maybe 2/3. I don't know. Anyway, from about here up, I'm gonna turn something like that. We'll see how it goes. I just don't know. But the rest of it, I'm gonna leave untouched. I hope. I want this weathered look. I don't want to touch this down here. Don't let me touch that down there. I don't want to sand it. It's already smooth. You wouldn't believe how smooth this is. May not look like it, but it's very smooth. It doesn't need sanding. It doesn't need finishing. Don't let me do it. It's about 5.5 inches tall. It's about 3 by 4. It's kind of an oval. I'm gonna find a center here, drill a hole for my woodworm screw, get it mounted up on the lathe, and we're gonna make us an emerging vase. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop. Howdy, let's get to it. I have the piece mounted up on the woodworm screw. We're gonna be turning at 585 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask, and face shield on. And I've already marked out for a tenon, which is about the only turning I'm gonna do on the bottom here, except to make sure that the edge is flat for it to set on. Yeah, I was afraid of that. We lost a little bit of our base. It just wasn't thick enough. Top is centered, but of course the bottom depends on the top. It's okay. It'll set just fine. It's about 3/4 there. I'm going to switch to a 3/8 inch bowl gouge so that I can get in there a little closer. Boy, this wood's hard. Of course, that's end grain as well. Now I'm going to use this diamond point tool to square up the sides of the tenon. Ooh, that's hard. Well, I wish it wasn't all chipped up around the bottom. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I guess I will. You know, I don't want to get rid of this gray weathered look. I want to preserve that, but of course now we're chipped here. I can't turn it, because if I turn it, you know, a lot of it's going to get turned away and a lot of it's not, because it's different distances from the tool rest. So I think I'm just going to sort of round this edge over with my sanding disc, just the way it has to be. Okay, well, time for sanding. That doesn't need much sanding at all. I'm starting at 150, and now I just want to try and clean up this edge right here. I really wish that hadn't happened. I don't think there's anything I could have done about it. The wood is just so hard it's brittle. Well, gotta do what I gotta do. So that's what I'll be doing up through 400 grit. I don't know if I'm going to put a finish on there now. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll let you know. You'll be the second person to know. Keep it a secret. See you in a bit. I'm going to put the finish on later on the bottom. I've turned the piece around and have the tenon mounted up in the chuck. I'm just going to start working up this way and just try and figure out something. But this part down here, somewhere down here, won't be turned, won't be sanded, won't be finished. You can see that it would look pretty good if it was, but I don't want it to look good. I want it to look old. I don't want it to look good. What kind of wood turner says that? Okay. Anyway, we're going to be turning at 650 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask and face shield on. We're going to be going a lot smaller than that. I'm just looking to see what the wood looks like. We're still in the heartwood, still in the sapwood. We're just about to hit the heartwood. The wood's going to get a lot darker. I think we'll come down here a little further. Yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind. I don't know. Nothing's coming to me yet. Still going to go a whole lot smaller. I guess it's going to be a bud vase, small hole, couple of flowers, that's it. I'm going to go sharpen up. I want to take this down even further. I'm going to come back here just a little bit more. I want a real long taper. And I switched to my 6-inch tool rest so that I can get in here a little bit closer. And I can pick the speed up now, about 750 RPM. Yeah, that's chipping away at the top there. Wish it wasn't. Oh boy, big chips, huh? There's a lot of little cracks up here. I think that's what's causing them. Well, maybe we're just about past the cracks. Well, maybe not. No, there's a pretty good one right there. Yeah, that's the problem, is those cracks. I'm going to sharpen up my negative rake scraper and see if I can clean up my cuts down here. They're not bad, but let me sharpen up. I'll be right back. Well, I'm going to take the blame for this, so that means I'm going to get rid of it. I had my cone center on here instead of a flat center like I have now. And that cone center was probably spreading those cracks apart. I wasn't thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and try and get rid of these chip outs here. And I put CA in the cracks now. That's something I should have done earlier. But besides that, I still want to turn this down thinner here. So I'm going to go back to my gouge. We'll save the scraper for a little bit and see if we can get rid of these whoopsies here. Cross your fingers. Ooh, still got one. And actually I'm pretty happy with that. That's another 1/8 of an inch deep. That one's gonna stay. I just can't go any smaller. In fact, I think that might be about it. Now I'm gonna switch to my scraper. But it's all cleaned up. It's as narrow as I want it here. It's a little bit more narrow up there than I wanted it, but we're going to live with it. It's going to be fun trying to get the tenon off of here. All right, well, it looks pretty good. Pretty much what I had in mind, so time for sanding. I'm starting the sanding at 80 grit. I'll work up through 400 grit. I'll bring you back here in a little bit. I have these little plastic inserts so that you can put a little water in there and put some live flowers in there. I hardly ever use them. I've got a ton of them. Anyway, I'm going to drill out for that. So it's going to be about a series of about 3 or 4 holes. I'll just show you the first one. I'll drill it out and I'll bring you back and we'll put some finish on here. It did sand up super, super smooth. I just love it. I have to be really careful around this edge. I don't want to get any sanding sealer on that gray part. You wouldn't believe just getting sanding sealer on there will turn it this color. And this is sanding sealer, shellac based sanding sealer. And I might apply just one coat because this is so smooth and the wood's so hard it's not really going to soak up much anyway. Well, that was pretty easy. I thought the wood was going to be darker. It's dark enough. It looks great to me. But I thought it was going to be darker judging by what we saw, I think, on the bottom or on either end, I guess. But it's quite pretty. And now that I see it with the sanding sealer on there, it does look a lot like the other Mountain Mahogany that I turned from Joe. So maybe he only talked about the 2 pieces of wood. He didn't say a 3rd piece. So that's why I'm wondering, but this looks like that wood. So maybe he put 2 pieces in here. Okay, well, I'll let that set up. Put on 2 coats of shellac over that, or maybe just 1, whatever it takes. And I'll bring you back and we'll take the tenon off. That's going to be fun. See you in a bit. It's time to remove the tenon from our pretty little vase. I've used this trick before on another vase that was actually bigger than this one and more out of balance than this one. So I have high hopes that it'll work well. I'm installing a drill chuck in my lathe chuck. Then I just have this 1/2 inch dowel to fit into the 5/8 inch hole that I drilled in the vase. Now I'm just going to put the vase over that. Bring up my tailstock. Now because I used a twist drill that has a bevel on the drilling end of it, my 1/2 inch dowel should fit into that bevel to help center the top end. And then I still have my center hole here for reference. So this should run pretty straight. I'm guessing it's going to slip as soon as I touch it with a gouge, which will be my 3/8 inch gouge. And I'm just going to turn the piece on here. It is out a little bit, but not as bad as it might look like it is. I can feel it with my thumbnail. Turn it up to about 500 RPM and start working it away. Just going to take gentle, small gentle cuts. No rush. Now I want to stop and check for clearance. I'm looking for a space between my gouge and the bottom of the tenon, and I just barely have one. And that is pretty dang small. I am going to turn the speed down to about 400 RPM and use this 3/8 inch swept-back bowl gouge so that I can get in there really close. Now I'm going to turn the speed down to about 200 RPM, and I'm going to apply the bevel of the gouge against the bottom of the vase. Right hand on the gouge, left hand on the switch, and when the little nub stops turning or the whole thing breaks, we'll know we're through. Now I'll just take this over here to the workbench, sand that up, sign it, get it finished, and I'll be right back. Be sure you stick around at the end of the video so you can see the before and after shots of this piece. If you'd share the video, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, here it is. One Mountain Mahogany emerging vase in the books. I'm totally happy with it. I didn't ruin the gray weathered wood on there. Got the nice crack showing. Got a great finish. There's the bottom all finished up. I am going with Mountain Mahogany. The reason is because the other piece of Mountain Mahogany that I turned is very similar in color and hardness and denseness. I'll link to that in your upper right hand corner there. What do you think? Is this anything interesting to you? I'll show it with flowers in it on the turntable at the end. A vase from a log. I really hope you like it. It was fun to do. A little bit of a challenge, but still fun. Thank you, Joe in Louisiana, for sending this along for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up, please. I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly. I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. An easy way to subscribe is just click my picture you see there near the end of the video. Your comments are always welcome, and I love reading them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.